Hey everybody, it's Steph from Destination Exploration here with another Technology Thursday post for our At Home with DE series. Today we're working in Python and creating a Hangman game that you can play against the computer to see how well you do. Let's get started. So we are going to be doing this project in two parts. The first part should get you about 90% of the way through the game. So if you are feeling comfortable and are able to go forward, you should be able to finish everything once we get to the end of part one. But if not, you can try figuring it out and then wait until next week and we'll go through the final product and make sure that you've got all your code ready to go to play your game. So the first thing that we're going to do is actually jump in and we're going to be using Python, which is actually the idle editor. So I'm just going to open up idle here and you should get this wonderful shell that we love so much. So the shell again has all of the Python kind of information up at the top and these three arrows that are essentially just telling us it's the shell. We can't save a program into it. So we do need to create a new one. So we're just going to go up here, we're going to go File, New File, and this is what we're going to be working in this untitled area right here. So the way that this program actually works is we're going to be able to call a different file that's saved somewhere on our computer. So that's really important on where it's saved. So let's go through where setting up our documents, okay? So I've got my Hangman game folder right here. It's in my July 16th folder. We're good to go. It's in that same spot. And I have this py file called words. And so this is actually a variable and all it is something that looks like this. It's just one variable set as a string of words in the English language. It's going to probably crash my computer because it is such a long string. But we can see right now that it says words, which is the variable words equals, and then this square bracket, which means it's a set of different strings. So it's just a set of different words that Python can call and look for those words that are inside of it. So it goes on forever. We're not going to go to the end of it just so that you can see it. The link to that py file is actually in the description below, so you can download it there. And all you're going to do is make sure that it's saved in the same folder that you're going to be working with in this new program that you've got right here. So right now it's untitled, which means it's not saved. All I'm going to do right at the beginning is go up here and go save as, and we're going to navigate to that same folder. And we're back in our Python Hangman, and I'm going into my Hangman game. There's my words file, and I'm going to type this, and this can be anything you want it to be. It's just going to be your file name, and it's just going to be, we're going to call it Hangman game, okay? So we're good to go there. It's in the same file path as the words, and that's going to allow Python to know where it is because it's going to first check where this original folder lives for anything else that it's importing, okay? So now that we have our program saved and it's in the same space as our words program, we're just going to make this a little bit bigger so that you can see it, and we're going to start with some comments. So we're going to call this the Hangman game, and in Hangman, what we're doing is essentially trying to guess this mystery word, except normally you're playing it with a friend and your friend can guess the word and pull it out of thin air. But what we're actually going to do is the computer is going to be our friend, and the computer is the only one that's going to know this mystery word until we guess all of the letters. The way that we tell the computer what word we're looking for is we're going to pull it from that set of words that we have in the words document that we have saved in the same folder here. So essentially what we're going to do is start, and because it's going to be a random word, we have to first import this random library. So we're just going to go import random, and that's just there. The next thing we have to do is we have to call that function that was in the words folder and the words file. So we're essentially going to import this variable, and the variable is words. Okay, so we're gonna go from the file name, which is words, import, and we're importing that variable, and the variable is also called words. So kind of confusing, but from the file name, we're importing this variable, okay? So that just pulls it there, and because we're in the same folder, Python knows where to pull it from, and we're all good. We shouldn't have any issues there, okay? So the next thing that we have to do is we're going to essentially create a function that pulls the correct words. Now, some of the words that are in this string that we're pulling from have dashes or spaces in them, and so when we're doing a user input in terminal or in the shell, it's not actually gonna be able to guess those. So we have to pull a word that doesn't have a dash and it doesn't have a space in it. Okay, so the way we're gonna do that is we're gonna define a new function, which is def, which is defining, and we're gonna call it get valid word. Okay, and this valid word is going to be pulling from this function right here. We're importing this, okay? So define this function, make sure that you've got your semicolon there. Remember, it's going to go down and into a tab. And we're going to call the word, the mystery word, the word. Pretty simple, the word. So the word equals a random choice of the computer. So we're going to go random choice of some string within this set of words, okay? Now, that means that it's pulling whatever it wants from this string. We have to now check if it's got a dash or a space in it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna create a while loop. A while loop just means it's a condition that while this is true, it's gonna keep running, and then when it's false, it's going to stop and return the one that we want, okay? So while there is so we're gonna use, again, a string is a green color in Python here. So we're gonna make sure that we have a bracket. We're gonna do dash. So while a dash is in the word, or a space is in the word. So what we're doing there is we're just checking if we have a dash in this variable up here, or if we have a space in this variable, and it's an or, so it doesn't have to be both conditions have to be true, it just has to be one or the other. Okay, so that's just going to be like a catch-all for all of us. Make sure that we have our semicolon. So while a dash is in the word or a space is in the word, we're going to choose a new word. So we're just going to do the same thing again. So the word equals a random choice of words. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to return the word, and we're just gonna make it uppercase. Okay, so we have to make it uppercase because if you've done a tutorial with us before, we know that a lowercase a and an uppercase a actually mean two different things within Python. So it actually can recognize between the upper and lower cases. So we have to make sure that we're gonna use uppercase all the way through our program. Okay, so we're gonna change things later so that it's all uppercase, and so we can get that proper match. Okay. So this is just this wonderful function called getValidWord that allows the computer to pick a word that works from our wonderful list of words. So now that the computer has a word, we have to create this game, because right now we haven't done anything with the game. We've just given the computer a random word, and it knows lots of words, and it doesn't need to know more. So we have to make a new function. So we're gonna go down here and we're gonna go define the function, and our function is gonna be the game. So it's just gonna be Hangman, open close bracket, semicolon. Okay, so this is just creating the function so that when we go into the shell, we can type in Hangman, open close brackets, and it's gonna run the following program. Okay, so we have to go first and we have to create the word that we're trying to guess. So we're gonna go the word equals the get valid word. So we're just recalling this function that's up here. Okay, so define Hangman, the word becomes get valid word, and it's gonna do this whole thing, and it's gonna return the word in uppercase. So that's what we're actually gonna create here for this this function, this variable here, okay? So it's the word, get valid words, make sure that you've got words up here, so it's the full function. We wanna make sure that we see that, okay? So now we have to create two sets. One set is gonna be a list of letters that we've already guessed, and the other set is gonna be a list of letters that are actually in this word. Okay, this mystery word that's up there. So first, let's create the word's letters, okay? So it's gonna go with the letters, and that's going to equal a set of the word. So a set is just like a list of different things. So it's going to take all of the letters in the word and break it up into individual values that we can return and check against, okay? So we've got the letters, and we're creating a set of, and it's a set of all the letters in this mystery word, okay? So now what we've got to do is we've actually got to tell Python what it's checking against. We have to give it an alphabet and give it this blank set of letters that we're going to be guessing. So you can do it like we've done before, where you can type in the alphabet. Whoa, let's spell that right. Alphabet equals, and then what we could do is we could do like a, and like create a giant list of letters. But what we can do is we can actually import a new library, and it's called the strings library, and there's actually one that's already created that is all the uppercase letters. So we're just gonna go back up here where we did all of our importing, and we're gonna go import string. Okay, and then that's just another library that we can call upon, and it saves us a whole bunch of time. So the alphabet is going to be called, or is a set of the string, we're calling the string function, and we're going to call it the ASCII underscore upper. Okay, so that's just all the English uppercase letters. Okay, so the alphabet is just this set of letters. And then what we're going to do is we're going to create a used letter set, and it's going to be a blank set. Okay, so we're not going to put anything inside of it. So right now, this set consists of all the letters in the mystery word. This set consists of all the uppercase letters in the alphabet, and this set is blank that we're going to fill with the user's input. Okay? So we've got these two sets, we've got to fill them, and then we've got to start checking them against this mystery word. Okay? So let's think about what we're gonna even do. We're gonna use a bunch of while loops and if statements, but sometimes I find it a little easier if we actually start typing it out and using our words so that we can think through the problem. So the first thing that we have to do is we have to check if our user input is in the alphabet and if it's not in some of the letters that we've used. So first, check if the guess is in the alphabet, but not been used before. So that means it's in our used letters set. Okay, so again, I'm just using comments. This is just the hashtag and some writing, and then it's red, so it doesn't actually do anything. So first check if the guess is in the alphabet. Let's just move this down here so you can see a little bit more. Okay, so first check if the guess is in the alphabet but not used before. And then if it is, so if the letter is in the alphabet and we haven't guessed it, so if so, we're going to add it to the used letters set. So we're going to add it no matter what, whether or not it's in the mystery word or not. It becomes part of this. We've used it before. The person's already guessed it. Okay, and then what we're also going to have to check is if the guess is also in the word, we have to remove it from, checking it again. Okay, so we're going to remove it from the letters set. Okay, so we're removing it from this check value, just telling us that we've gotten it right. We've gotten one of them, okay? So the goal is to essentially get the letter set to equal 0, so the length of it, right? Because that means that there's no more letters to guess, and we've guessed the full word. So that's what we're aiming for, which means we have to remove it every time we guess it right. So first we've got to check if it's in the alphabet and not been used before. What happens if it's in the alphabet, but it has been used before? Okay, so now after we've done that first check, we have to then go to our new condition. So it's guess, is the guess, or has the guess been used before? Used before. AKA, is it in the used letters string set? Okay, and our last guess is it in the alphabet? And if it's not in the alphabet, then it's it's an invalid character, so we have to tell the user that. So if not in the alphabet, return invalid message. Okay, so that's essentially what we're going to do, and we're going to turn that now into code. And this is going to be like our bulk of the guessing, and then we're going to use some other things afterwards, okay? So let's go and let's create this while loop. So we're going to do this. So while, well, first we have to get a guess. Let's start with that. So the guess is going to equal a user input. And again, the purple just means that the user, when we're in terminal, gives a prompt to the user, and that's where you can guess your letter. And we're going to use it, make it a string. So guess a letter. Making sure that we add a space in there afterwards. Okay, so while, let's think about this first sentence here. First, check if the guess is in the alphabet, but not been used before. Okay, so while the guess is in the alphabet, but not the used letters. So that's just what that dash means. So it's like alphabet minus the used letters. So just math, okay? We're going to first add it to, so if it is, add it to the used letter. So while this is true, we're gonna do used letters dot add, and we're gonna add in the guess. Because again, it's just one string, so it's gonna add it in there. But when we add it here, it could be a lowercase a. So what we actually have to do is change this input to an uppercase. So just like we returned an uppercase up here, we can add a dot upper just at the end of that, and it's going to change that user input into all capitals. So we're just adding a capital letter to this, and that's what we want to see. Okay, so now we've done this. So if it is, add it to the use letter set. So we've done that. If the guess is also in the remove, or also in the word, remove it from the letter set. Okay, so we're in this while loop. We're not getting out of it because we're still in this first bit. Okay, so while it's been added to this use list, we then have to check if it's in the actual mystery word. Okay, so we're going to add another if statement. We're going to go if the guess is in the letters, colon, and we're just going to add it to that or remove it. Okay, so the letters, which is the set, dot remove the guess. So basically just the opposite of what we've done here. So we just added a guess and removed a guess. Okay, so that's this bit right here. So we've done that whole section. Now what we're gonna do is we're coming back out again. So has the guess been used before, aka is it in the used letters? So if it does not work in one of these, so if it's not in the alphabet and it's not in the alphabet that's subtracted the used letters, we have to go in and making sure that we're in the right line here. Okay, so we can see that it comes down there. We're gonna do an elif statement, which is just like else if. So it's just another condition. So else if the guess is in the used letters, we should basically tell them they've already guessed it before. Okay, so we're going to print just a basic string. You've already guessed that. Awesome. Now, and then last but not least, this last bit, if not, it's not in the alphabet, it's wrong, it's an invalid character. So we're just going to do an else statement like a catch-all, print invalid character. Okay, so that's what we've got here. We want to try it out. So essentially we've got a letter and we're guessing whether or not that letter is in the alphabet, if it's in the letter we've already used, or if it's just an invalid character. Okay, so let's give it a try. So remember up here, we're gonna go run module. It's gonna ask us to save it again because it's gotta be saved in the same spot. Oh my goodness, so this is not actually a while loop. That's wrong because I've used elif statements, which is an if statement, not a while loop. So that's what we'll use later. So this is actually an if the guess, because we're checking if something here. So if the guess is in the alphabet minus the used letters, we're going to add it to the used letters list and then check then if it is in the mystery letters. So let's try that one more time. We're going to run our module, save it. Oh, we haven't closed this. Look at this. We gotta love debugging. One more time. 3rd time's a charm. Can we give it a go? There we go. So when we do this, we're actually running it in the shell. We can see that it's going here. It's grabbing it from a Hangman game /hangman.py. What we have to do is we are now, like I said before, we actually have to go in and call this function. So we're just going to type in Hangman or bracket, press enter, and it says guess a letter. So I could do S, more errors. We love a good error. Okay. Local variable reference before assignment. Ho ho! Can we spot the error right there? So remember, we haven't actually defined this yet. We've just given it a random semicolon. So let's put a equal sign in there, and maybe 4th time's a charm. Here we go. So we got a first bit. Remember that we're gonna call our function Hangman, press enter, guess a letter, S. Oh, it seemed to have worked. But let's see if I can try guessing again. Oh, the name G is not defined. We actually haven't restarted the program yet. Okay, so let's try this. We're gonna go in here, we're gonna go Hangman, run our function. We get this so you can see it kind of down here in the bottom here. So guess a letter, we're gonna go G, and what it's doing behind the scenes, we can take a look, and it's actually, if we've guessed a letter, which means that it's a valid letter, and it's removing it from this. If we wanted to test it out, we can put an else statement in here. Print, not in the word. Okay, so let's give that a go. Let's see if that can help us visualize what's going on here. So we got Hangman, guess a letter, G. It is not in the word. Okay, so what it's done is it essentially has come in here, it has gone through the in the letters, remove it, but this is not true, therefore it is not in the word, so it's printing this. It's this else statement here, okay? So what we're actually going to do is let's try and guess again and see what happens. If I type in H, I get a H is not defined, because technically I've just gone through all of this and then I'm done. There's nothing that has told us that we have to jump back up to the beginning to say, hey, you got to try again. Because that's the whole point of Hangman. So we're going to get you started. This is what we're going to do in part 2 and work on the user interface so that you can actually see how many letters are in the word that you're guessing to help you out, because that's part of the game itself, and see which letters you've guessed and in the right order and all those things. That it gets a little bit complicated. Okay, so essentially what we're going to do is, in order to allow us to keep going back and forth and keep guessing and basically until we've guessed all the letters, which means that the letters, which is the magic mystery word, the length of this set then becomes 0 because we've removed it every time we guess it right. So we want to create a while loop to essentially run until that length equals 0. So all we're going to do in here is we have to make sure that we're hanging in this indent here. So we're going to go while the length of the letters is greater than 0. The following has to be true, except we know that a while loop actually has to be indented, so we can select it all and press tab and it will indent everything over one space here. So while the length is greater than 0, we can keep guessing. So let's give that a go here. Try it one more time. Let's see. We're gonna Hangman. Guess a letter A. It's not in the word. E. Not in the word. I. Not in the word. What? Oh, U is in the word. That is a very difficult word. But essentially, at this point, we're going through this thing. Maybe it's an S, not in the word. What about an N, not in the word. X, not in the word. Y is in the word. So right now, as a user, you'd have to go through and be like, okay, the U is in the word. The Y is in the word. Again, this is going to be a weird word. I wish I could type in and see what the word is. But this is very not user friendly. So if your goal before next week is to try and get it so that you can display the length of the letters and basically swap out different characters as we go through each guess, okay? So we've got you going here so that you can keep guessing and guessing and guessing, but now let's see if you can try and problem solve and make it so that you can get that full user interface that we're used to when we play Hangman, and keeping going here. So this will get you started, but we will finish it off next week, so make sure that you join us again next Thursday to finish off our Hangman code, and you'll have lots of summer fun to play with. So until then, if you're looking for other things to do, you can go check out our other Python tutorials, and you can even check us out on Tuesday. We're going live to do some science in your house, so you can join us then. And if not, keep trying and picking away at this Python program, and hope you have fun doing it. And until next time, we'll see you then.